bet if I turn the truck off. Oh, something happened. She's not paying much. Oh, there she's paying attention. Wonder how close. The camera looks like I'm zoomed in, but I'm maybe 20, yeah, let's even say 30 yards at the most. I could throw a baseball and hit that little guy or little gal. I'm walking at pretty near normal speed. Meh. Meh. Give a little baby cry. I'm like a frickin' Grizzly Adams here. This is hilarious. Meh. There we go. Still ain't too scared. That's kind of funny. Well, good morning, guys. That's enough fun with that little deer. I was pretty surprised how close I got to that little sucker. It was about 5:15 when I climbed out of the pickup. Gonna just plow for a few hours this morning until everybody else gets up and going, and then start my day. But yeah, so in some of the comments in my videos and at other places, people have asked about vertical till and a no-till system. And at a no-till meeting, when you say, well, I want to bring vertical till in, they're just like, no, that's not no-till. No-till is no-till, plain and simple. But I live in the real world. I don't live in the no-till fantasy world. There is going to be a spring where I am going to have to use a vertical till machine to dust up that top ½ inch of soil so I can no-till plant into it without my gauge wheels and my closing wheels gumming up. Because your closing wheels, if the dirt is that sticky, they might start to pull the dirt off of your seed and expose your seed trench and start doing a bad job there, and your gauge wheels start to mud up, then it changes your depth and you got seed on top of the ground. And that, you know, a planter isn't designed to be mudded up like that. That defeats the whole functioning of that row unit. And we want that planter to do good, and we want to stick to our no-till roots as close as we can, but we understand we might need a little assist once in a while. So for me, that assist so far has been the strip till machine. On ground that I feel is a little too compacted or I feel is a little too wet and sticky, we'll just no-till, or we'll strip till that ahead of the planter, so then we have a good seed bed. But we have a lot of ground that's very ready for no-till. It's working in no-till already, but you get that spring where it's just a little cool and wet, and you get kind of that wet pattern in the forecast, and you're just like, we're never gonna get there if we want to stay on no-till or stick to a true zero-till. So if we go with a vertical till, there's only a couple basic things we need to watch out for. One, let's stick to a true vertical till machine. We want the blades running straight. We don't care if they're fluted, rippled, bubble, whatever type of coulter. That's whatever your soil needs. But let's keep them blades running straight. Deer and Case IH, they jumped right all over this vertical till bandwagon, and they just brought out their discs with some funny blades on it and added some weight and beef to it and said, well, we're making vertical till machines now. And then of course all the bleed underwear green guys and the bleed red guys are just like, yup, this Case 330 is the greatest vertical till machine ever. It's like, no, that's an awesome high-speed disc. Let's be honest, it's a high-speed disc. A true vertical till machine will have the coulters going straight, and we got to remember there's a lot of weight. If you buy a pre-made, you know, a factory vertical till machine, some of them things have a tremendous amount of weight per blade, because at a higher speed you need more weight per blade to hold it in the ground, and they're designed to go at a high speed, and that's great. So then we need to pay attention to our soil. We don't want 400 pounds per blade going into soil that's so wet that now we're going to cause a compaction issue, or if it's so mellow that sucker just sinks out of sight. We need to pay attention to what we're doing. So we are just working that top half inch. We're not concerned in a no-till situation about the residue. Mother Nature's taking, we know Mother Nature's taking care of our residue. We don't need to size our residue. Maybe if you get enough, if in parts of the country that has 250 bushel corn, maybe they got enough residue that a vertical till pass ahead of the no-till system might help just not mince that residue, but just cut it enough so their trash whips can go through better. Yep, you betcha. That'd be fantastic. But for us, in 130 and 150 bushel corn, even behind me over there, where the 260 bushel corn was, the trash wouldn't have been an issue for the planter and the row cleaners to run through. So we just need to keep it in mind. Or there's a lot of guys with cattle that are hauling out the pen pack manure, and they just want to incorporate that manure just a tiny bit. We don't want to turn the field black. That it defeats the whole purpose of our no-till system. We're not out there to try and warm and dry our profile, because we know in no-till we don't need to warm and dry that whole profile. We just need that top half inch dry enough that we can run the planter across without our gauge wheels and our closing wheels mudding up, so the planter row unit can do a good job. We know that we've got the structure in the top. We know our water. We've got that handled. So we don't want to turn that field black. We don't want to bury that residue and wake up all them bad bugs that are just going to scavenge and eat up our residue and just convert it to carbon super quick. We want to leave that carbon on top, maybe knock it down. There's a couple people I could see. You got many counties around me that I could see them guys replacing their whole tillage program with a vertical till machine just to lay that residue down so it covers the ground better than leaving them standing stocks, because they are so dry. That sand is so dry with no cover that, yep, in a vertical till machine running over them corn stalks, actually lay all that standing stock down, cover the ground better. So there's a lot of ways we can incorporate vertical till into our no-till system. There's many scenarios that you bet it could be a positive tool to work with our no-till when needed. Let's just be careful with it. Let's just watch our depth. Let's watch how much soil we're moving and them kind of things, and the condition of the soils that we're going into, because we don't want to go backwards. If the ground was just that super wet where we're going to just start making ruts and causing issues to make that vertical till pass to get the ground ready for the planter, well then maybe we do need to wait a few days to let that water dissipate some. And then if it starts getting late, then you got to do what you got to do. We understand that, we all live in reality. But yeah, I think it's a pretty simple system. Just be careful with it. But yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching. Keep the conversation going below. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber, because I need to get to 100,000 subscribers, and I'm gonna go plow.